I just noticed this. Notice when the next service is due. Welcome to Cars and Bids. Oh, wait, sorry, no, welcome back to Doug's Cars, y'all. I have just been handed the key to a brand new 2001 Dodge Ram, second generation. Okay, now that's not quite true because it's not brand new, because it can't be, it's a 2001, but you're never ever gonna see another one like this. This thing has 16,000 miles on it. I'm so glad Troy from Addicted Motors gave me the key to try this out. I was with him when he picked this up a month or so ago, and it is legitimately a one family owned vehicle with 16,800 miles on it. It is going up on Cars and Bids like tomorrow. So I'm gonna link to the auction when that goes live. This thing is amazing, absolutely amazing. It is a work truck. Now, no one saves work trucks. These things are destroyed by carpenters and plumbers and people who use them because no one buys them new for a yard truck. But that's exactly what this is. This was some guy's yard truck, and apparently he was in his 90s and just didn't want to drive it anymore. So you know, this thing is immaculate. If it wasn't garaged, I'd be shocked. And it's a long bed. I'm going to get into what features this has as far as it being a work truck and not having a lot soon. But I can't wait to give this thing a go. This is, seriously, it's like brand new. The seat foam is fine. The dashboard, no cracks. These things never lasted. These things cracked driving off the dealer lot. They're hard plastic. There's no foam here, no vinyl. It is hard plastic. Those things cracked. I had a neighbor years ago who had one. I think it was a 95. That thing was shattered. Like, it looked like someone had put mud out in the sun for 3 weeks in Arizona. And the seats in these go. I have friends who have a Dakota from the same era. Driver's seat, the springs have collapsed around the foam. So you sit way down low. And we went to the pick and pull to see if we could get another seat out of a Dakota or Durango. Nope, they all have the same issue. This one's fine. I'm sitting up nice and high. My head's, you know, not that far from the roof, considering it's a pretty big cab, but I'm pretty tall. So, oh man, what a cool vehicle this is. Let's take a look around real quick. Magnum. Dodge did a lot of that in this era. Magnum V8s, Magnum V6. This is a 3.9 liter Magnum V6. It's actually an older V6 that they just renamed that way. But it has 175 horsepower, which is not too bad considering that it's you know, it's a pretty lightweight truck. It is a full-size pickup. It's a long bed, which is one of the options. Although I guess it really isn't an option. You just kind of got the long bed edition or the short bed. I mean, it's got poverty spec, the dog dish hubcaps here. You know, it's got 16-inch wheels, which is pretty good. They put new tires on it, but look at the frame. I mean, look at this. I mean, it's immaculate. This is just amazing. Like, there's some surface rust on the leaf spring and on the rear axle, but not even much of that. And I looked this dealer up, and it's in Southern Maryland. So obviously the guy who bought this lived in Virginia, and that's where he bought it, but probably had to get it there because it was probably the only place in the region that had something like this in stock. You know, there's a couple little blemishes in the step bumper and a couple little blemishes here in the stake pockets on the bed, but the bed itself, I mean, I don't even think it's really ever been used. Maybe a couple, you know, twigs have slid around in there. It's not dinged or dented or anything, and there's just a little bit of grime on there. But I mean, the paint is amazing on this, considering it's 20 years old. And you know, the front end is nice too. This is completely honest. They did not clean up any of that with any of that black stuff you put on that makes it shiny again, like when it was new. I mean, and this is a 2001, so by the time this truck came out, this big rig look had been used for several years and people were used to it. But I think people underestimate how revolutionary this truck was when it came out in the early 90s. I think these came out for the 94 model year, but so late 93. No one was doing anything like this. No one had this like hip here, this stepped grill to make it look like a big rig. Chevy had a new truck out since I believe 88, and Ford was still soldiering along until a little bit later in the 90s with their vehicle that was pretty much introduced in the early 80s with just some composite headlights and a nicer interior. This thing blew people's minds. They sold like 400,000 of these a year for years, till finally the new Chevys and Fords came out and caught up to them. Now, I can confess, I mean, I remember when these came out and I was not a huge fan of them. I just did not care for this front end at all. But after a year or two, I realized how cool it actually was. Something that will not happen with the new BMW M4. All right, let's hop inside. You can see, no power locks. It has the one key, at least it's new enough for that, so you don't have to deal with two separate keys. You've got keep fit windows. You've got the blanking plug where the mirror control would be, because this has got basically no options. Like I said, it's a long bed. I'm sure the red color didn't cost anything extra. It's not metallic, which is probably good because it held up really well. And as we hop inside, you can see, oh, okay, well, we've got 4 pedals actually, but the third one is the one that really matters, because that means it's got a stick shift. And yes, it's a 5-speed. Of course, we've got dual airbags because they were certainly required by then. But down here also, there's no carpeting. This is just rubber, and you've got a vinyl bench seat. No armrest in the middle. Dome light with no switch on it. But you do have a headliner. A few months back, I drove my buddy Alex's D150, which is a 77 that he had been working on, and that didn't have a headliner in it, but it probably came with one. But man, it's echoey without it. That was a top-of-line model, so it came with one from the factory, but by 2001, everybody got a headliner, even if they were buying the base stuff. I mean, it's got these cool adjustable cup holders, which are pretty high-tech considering, and then the one that just fits a regular Coke can there. Some cubbies in the dash here. You can cut off the passenger airbag. You've got an ashtray, an actual lighter, and another outlet down here. Decent glove box with the owner's manual in there, and looks like the build sheet even. But yeah, look at this dash. I defy any of y'all who know anything about these trucks. Let me know if you've ever seen a dash this good, except when these things were new. And that's why this thing is brand new. It is amazing in here. Now, talking about options, again, this is a 5-speed, so there's no optional transmission in this. It's not four-wheel drive, nothing like that. But it does have a tape deck, which I'm fairly certain was an option, and it has air conditioning, which, of course is a necessity, but also most likely was an option. I could be wrong about that. By 2001, they might have just gone ahead and put AC and everything, because of the 3 people every year who are going to order a fleet vehicle without AC. It's just not worth it for them to tool up for the 3 pickups that didn't come with air conditioning. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. We do also have delay wipers, so intermittent wipers, which could possibly have come as part of an equipment group with the AC and the tape deck. There's no automatic lights or anything like that. It has a tack, but it's a manual, so that probably came with it. So yeah, so I'm thinking at most there were 3 options. Again, the long bed is not really an option, tape deck, and air conditioning. Because the Magnum V6, the 3.9 V6 was standard, the standard motor. So yeah, how many times you get to drive a brand new 20-year-old pickup truck? Let's check this out. Check it out in all its glory. The 3.9, you can see they left a little bit of room here, my hand, for 2 hand widths of room here for a much bigger motor. But it is a Magnum. It's not just a private investigator from Hawaii. And yeah, I mean, it's idling nicely. You can see the belts still have the labels on them, spinning past. It's got a decent new battery, and ABS. It's a modern vehicle. Interesting that they mount the washer fluid bottle here on the side of the fan shroud. Great little motor, really. Sounds good. Let's turn the radio off there so I don't get any copyright complaints. So yeah, it's got the tack, as I said, idling nicely. Again, you can see the 16855. Good oil pressure, definitely. Volts are nice. Temps, of course, down because I haven't driven anywhere yet. So this is going on Cars and Bids tomorrow. So I'm going to drive this, but I'm going to be very careful. Go ahead and turn the air on because it's getting warm in here, and I don't want to roll the window down because then you won't be able to hear me. Yeah, it's blowing nice and cold. That's worth a lot to me. I don't like buying a car without AC. Adjustable seatbelts. How 21st century of them. This is a long stick shift. Gears there. Reverse. Okay. Doesn't look like the brakes on. So okay, that's interesting. It's got an interesting noise to the engine, but it drives well. Into third. Shifts really well. I mean, that was fifth. Come on. And then the second around the corner here. Yeah, you definitely don't need to go into higher gear with this. It is geared differently than last stick shift I drove was my M4, and it's been a month or two. Yeah, the stock feels nice. Everything, you know, the gauges are all super clear and they're not faded, because why would they be? And okay, that's a better start. Yeah, this seriously, now that I've shifted gears a couple times in it, this drives like a new truck. Like seriously, this drives like a new truck. The suspension is tight, the brakes are great, the clutch is perfect. I mean, again, there's nothing old on it other than the fact that it's 20 years old. The parts haven't aged. Oh man. I am already a bidder on Cars and Bids. Do I want to bid on this? I don't really have use for this right now, but it's pretty sweet. I mean, it is cool seeing that giant bed sticking out there behind you and just knowing I can put anything and everything I want in there, because look how huge it is. It's an 8-foot bed. Of course, I don't want to try to buy lumber nowadays. I don't have that kind of money. I'll take out a mortgage. It's supremely comfortable. The AC is nice and cold. I've got, you know, a tape deck, but you know, it's a digital radio. I can still, I mean, you could drive this cross country in 5th gear, probably get pretty good mileage out of that 3.9 liter V6, because this thing doesn't weigh anything really. Just because it's long, there's nothing to it. You know, that bed is empty, and this interior, I mean, there's no power windows or anything. It's got dual airbags, but there's nothing in here to weigh it down. So I would say, I bet you could get over 20 miles a gallon on this thing in 5th gear on the highway without a load on it. That would be fun. Mirrors are nice and big. You've got great visibility. Oh, low fuel light just came on, so maybe I wasn't right about the mileage, but it was low anyway. So coming out on the main road here. Oh yeah, I'm sure these new tires made a difference, because the tires that were on this were terrifying when we picked this vehicle up. But you know, again, it was owned by an elderly gentleman and his daughter, and it was a yard truck. It probably never went on the highway. Although, again, I don't know why it wouldn't, because it's fantastic for that, at least in my opinion. And yeah, I mean, this thing's really cool. So, you know, while I continue to just cruise around and enjoy it till I run out of gas and give Addicted Motors a hard time about that, check out his channel. He just hit 1,000 subscribers and got monetized, which is just fantastic. He's been working really hard at it. He has a video on this truck too, but I decided, hey, it's going live on Cars and Bids tomorrow. I'm gonna make a video too, see if we can't, you know, drum up some more support for this, because you will never see another one. Not a work truck, maybe an SRT 10 or something. You will never see another work truck like this, with this low miles on it, in this condition, anywhere. But it'll be on Cars and Bids. So hey, thanks y'all so much for watching Doug's Cars. Hit subscribe, because there's a lot more cool stuff coming. I am going to Amelia Island next weekend for the Amelia Concours, and I will be bringing my camera with me. We are gonna have a blast. But stay tuned for that, and I'll see y'all soon.